True power isn't found in the noise you make, but in the silence you keep. Have you ever considered that your greatest weakness might be your need to fill every moment with words? We live in a world that equates volume with value, where the loudest voice often commands the room. But history whispers a different truth. It is the quiet observer who holds the real authority. Consider the weight of a word not spoken. The ability to remain still, to let a thought settle before it escapes your lips, is a form of discipline that most will never master. When you speak less, you are not being passive, you are being strategic. You are sending a signal to the world around you, a signal that says you are not desperate for attention, that you are content in your own presence. This is the first trait of the truly powerful. They understand that their silence is a shield. But how do you cultivate this silence without being perceived as weak or withdrawn? The answer lies in understanding the 7 pillars of quiet command. First is the pillar of observation. The person who speaks less has more time to watch. They see the subtle shifts in body language, the flicker of hesitation in an opponent's eye, the unspoken needs of a friend. While others are busy formulating their next sentence, you are busy learning. You are gathering data that will inform your next decisive action, not just your next empty comment. A life spent in observation is a life spent in accumulation, gathering the currency of wisdom that others ignore. Silence is the canvas upon which wisdom paints its greatest masterpieces. Second, there is the power of emotional grounding. When you speak, you are often reacting. Your words are fired by the emotional state of the moment, fear, excitement, anger, or pride. Silence creates a gap, a space between the stimulus and your response. This space is where your true power lives. It allows you to extinguish the fires of emotional reactivity before they reach your tongue. By waiting, you let the storm pass, and you speak from a place of calm, deliberate thought. This is the difference between a leader and a puppet. The puppet is pulled by strings of emotion. The leader is guided by the anchor of reason. Now think about your own conversations. What is your primary motivator? Is it to be understood, or is it to be right? This leads us to the third pillar, the art of non-reaction. In any dispute or debate, the person who reacts immediately often loses the upper hand. They are playing the game on their opponent's terms. By choosing silence, you refuse to engage in a fight you didn't choose. You become a mirror, reflecting their chaotic energy back at them without adding your own. Often, their own words will entangle them, and your silence will feel like a fortress they cannot penetrate. When you finally speak, your words will have the sharp edge of precision because they have been forged in the stillness of non-reaction. What is the fourth pillar then? It is the generation of personal space. When you speak less, you are less available. You create a mystery around your persona. People begin to wonder what you are thinking, what you know that they don't. This perceived depth is a magnet for respect and intrigue. In a world of open books, you become a guarded library. You grant access only to those who you deem worthy, and that scarcity increases your value. The energy you conserve by not speaking is not lost. It is turned inward to fuel your own growth and introspection. Fifth is the practice of value-based communication. Most people speak because they have to fill the air. Their words are cheap, used as a social lubricant. You, however, will treat your words as currency. You will hoard them until you can invest them in a conversation that yields a high return. When you speak, it will be to add value, to offer a perspective, to ask a question that deepens the discussion. This does not mean you are aloof or unapproachable. It means you are intentional. You are communicating to the world that your voice is a rare and precious resource, not to be wasted on trivialities. The less you speak, the more your words are worth. The sixth pillar is the ability to listen with intent. People often confuse hearing with listening. The person who speaks less is free to truly listen, not to formulate a response, but to understand. This level of engagement is the highest form of respect you can offer another person. It creates a powerful bond. When others feel truly heard, they become more open, more vulnerable, and they often reveal their deepest truths to you. This is a position of immense power. You become the confidant, the advisor, the pillar of support, and in that position, you are invaluable. Are you feeling the shift yet? Now we arrive at the seventh and final pillar, the acceptance of impermanence. The constant chatter of the world is its attempt to hold on to things, to define them, to control them. The silent mind accepts that everything is transient. Words are often our attempt to combat this impermanence by freezing a moment in time. But you will understand that the moment is already gone. Your silence is an acknowledgement of this fundamental truth. It allows you to move with the flow of life rather than trying to swim against it. This acceptance breeds an inner stillness that is unshakable, because you are no longer fighting the nature of existence itself. You are in alignment. Consider the figure of a man who knows he is about to face a great trial, perhaps a public criticism or a hostile audience. He has prepared his defense, his rebuttals, his clever wordplay. But he also knows the most powerful tool in his arsenal is a moment of silence. He will let the accusation hang in the air. He will meet the gaze of his accuser with a calm, steady presence. In that silence, the power dynamic shifts. The accusation begins to feel impulsive, even petty. The audience begins to wonder who is truly in control. And when he finally speaks, his single, well-chosen sentence carries the weight of an earthquake. You see, it's not about being quiet because you have nothing to say. It is about being quiet because you are waiting for the right moment to say the right thing. The world is full of people shouting over one another, trying to be heard. It is a cacophony of desperation. But you will not join the chorus. You will be the note that silences the crowd. This is not about being antisocial. This is about being sovereign. It's about reclaiming your internal authority from the external demand for noise. It is about learning that the most profound connections are made in the spaces between words, in the shared understanding that requires no explanation. The stoic, the sage, the master of their own destiny, they all share this one trait. They are not ruled by their tongue. They have forged a deep connection to their inner world, and that connection is the source of their unshakable strength. The challenge of this philosophy is immense. The world will try to force you into its frantic rhythm. It will tempt you with the need to explain, to defend, to persuade. But ask yourself this: what is the rush? Is the validation of a soundbite worth the loss of your serenity? Is winning a trivial argument worth the peace that comes from letting the other person be wrong? When you truly internalize these pillars, you stop seeing silence as an absence of something and start seeing it as a presence of everything. You gain mastery over yourself. You stop being a puppet on the strings of your own impulsive dialogue. You become the observer, the thinker, the one who sees clearly because he is not blinded by the dust kicked up by his own verbal frenzy. You stop speaking to prove you exist, because you know you exist. This knowing is the foundation of true confidence. It is the bedrock upon which your character is built. This journey to the quiet center is a difficult one. You will make mistakes. You will often fail and find yourself rambling in a social setting, immediately regretting the words you've just spoken. This is part of the path. The goal is not perfection. The goal is awareness. When you catch yourself in the act of careless speech, you are taking a step forward. Each time you regret a word, you are strengthening your resolve for the next encounter. So, how do you begin? How do you cultivate this power in a world that is constantly demanding your verbal participation? It starts with a single breath. It starts with the decision to watch the world rather than engage with it. It starts with a profound self-respect. You must believe that you are worth listening to, and therefore, your words must be worth hearing. You cannot be a cheap source of entertainment for others. You are not a jester at their court. You are a king in your own mind. The world is full of noise. Be the signal. Embrace the art of self-silence. It is the most powerful tool you will ever have. It is the source of your wisdom, your inner peace, and your unshakable power. The noise of the world will fade. Your own quiet voice will be the only thing that remains. And in that space, you will find the freedom you have always sought. The power of silence is not in how it affects others, but in how it transforms you. It turns you from a reactor into an actor, from a follower into a leader. So, what will you choose? Will you continue to be a slave to your own tongue, or will you begin the beautiful and disciplined practice of speaking less, and in doing so, say everything that matters? If this resonates with you, and you're ready to walk the path of the quiet master, I invite you to take a moment to subscribe to Winds of Thought. Hit that like button, and let us embark on this journey together. The world is waiting for those who have the courage to be still. Be still, and you will be heard.